What is up, Better Bankers? It is MoteItBe Steve back in my new studio. I hope you're enjoying that. Hopefully, with a little better audio and video quality than before. I'm going to keep trying to step it up for you guys. I've got an awesome video for you today about some BetterBank updates. We've got quite a few, so we've got a lot to go through. I think I'm going to make a couple of videos so I can make them a little more bite-sized. But this is a really important update on the relaunch. So, as you may have known, the official launch date was supposed to be this past Monday, and it shifted. And a lot of people are upset about that. I want to talk about that. We're going to go through what happened. We're going to go through what the new date might be. Do we have a new date? And why this is ultimately really good news for the project. BetterBank was scheduled to reopen September 29th at noon UTC, and that did not happen. So what was the reason for the delay? So in reality, code changes are more involved than what was originally expected. And the contract needed to go through full audits. Essentially, they had set the date based on when they'd like to be open rather than what was actually achievable. So the 29th date came up. They thought that was enough time for proper review, deployment of the contracts, verification of the contracts, updating the keeper bots, all that sort of thing. And there's like a sequence to this stuff. It has to happen in order. And each step depends on the one before it, which adds time. The bonus of that was instead of initially opening with 2 audits, we were to have 4 out of 6 done. And on top of that, Zokyo, the original auditor that missed the exploit that ended up being taken advantage of, had agreed to re-audit the new update as an apology. So that brought the total number of updates up to 7, which I do want to take a moment to talk about. Is really unheard of. I did a little research on this, and nobody does this. Blue chip protocols like Aave on Ethereum or Uniswap have 3 or 4. And normally when there's more than 1 or 2, it's taken the teams and the protocols years to get that far. So for a protocol as young as BetterBank to have 6 or 7, essentially after only being operational for 2 weeks, is absolutely unheard of. I've spoken to Nikki about this, and essentially he has said it's his goal for BetterBank to be one of the most secure protocols, not only on Pulse Chain, but in all of crypto. And that's a pretty bold goal. In addition to this long term, in addition to the multiple audits, they're looking to establish a massive bug bounty as time goes on. So there's a major commitment to this, and I think that their response has been pretty phenomenal. So when the relaunch does finally happen, they told us we can see improvements. We've heard a little bit more about what those improvements will be. Some liquidation. So the liquidation process is going to get changed to reduce sell pressure. We've already talked about there's going to be the reintroduction of eDai. So we have a stable coin that you can use in the wildlands the same way that you can use the favor token. It'll have a matching favor token like before, and obviously can be used in the stronghold. So the wildlands of the stronghold on a stable coin. So if we see those APRs, I guess I should say APYs, hitting 30, 40, 50, 60% again on a stable coin, that is totally revolutionary and completely unheard of. So unfortunately, there was a critical finding. They were on track for this past Monday to relaunch. We were all excited. We had this time frame. I was excited. I planned to do a live broadcast at that time. But that didn't happen. And what had happened was Oxguard, one of the auditors, Oxguard is really known for super technical audits. I found out they uncovered a late but critical vulnerability. So in other words, their first couple passes through, everybody was set, which kudos to Oxguard, right? we've now had 5 audit companies, maybe 6, look at this, and including Oxguard. And Oxguard says, "Oh, wait, we found something." And so what they found was a way to manipulate the LP price oracle, which then leads to the ability to manipulate price to purchase tokens, I imagine, at an incredibly low price or sell them at a high price. It impacts the lending side of the system. Maybe you'd be allowed to borrow more than you actually had collateral for, something like that. So it was when we're being told it was a very complex math-heavy attack vector. The fact that only 1 out of 7 auditors, like I said, showed just how deeply hidden it was. And in that way, the protocol's really lucky. We're really lucky as bankers because BetterBank now has the opportunity to patch this. So that's pushed us back again. And a lot of people are so upset about this. So upset. And I'm not really sure why. The only thing I can think, I'm speculating here, but the only thing I can think is the people that are most upset about this don't really care about the protocol. It's a, hey, give me my money, and they're out. The folks in the community I've talked to that are actually dedicated to using this protocol, dedicated to Pulse Chain, dedicated to BetterBank, we obviously want this to be as safe as possible. Yeah, don't rush it. Don't rush it. Take your time. Let's see how it goes. So the team, Nikki has said that he's given us some hints for this final relaunch timeframe, and essentially he's not doing time specific dates anymore. So he won't give a goal date for us to look forward to. When it is done, and they will tell us. We are being told this is not months. It's probably not weeks. It may be days. So at this point in time, that announcement is a couple days old now. At this point in time, it could literally be any day. So I'm wondering, and I'll definitely keep my ear to the ground for you all and let you know as soon as I'm able to. But essentially, yeah, that's it. The relaunch was delayed. I think there's a really good reason for it. Instead of rushing it, BetterBank is taking their time to make sure that the system is airtight. Isn't that what we should all want? BetterBank is comprised of our money, our assets that we contribute. If you have the attitude of, I don't care about everyone else's assets, I just want my money, I personally, I don't know if I want you involved. I don't have a say on that, but that's my opinion. Give them time. So, again, the very nature, anybody, I don't have a ton of experience with code and that sort of thing. I made my first HTML website, like a decade or a half or more, probably more ago at this point in time. But what I know is when you find something, you find a bug and you patch it, your fix can often be just as damaging as the bug. In other words, like you create problems where there weren't. And so I know that process is lengthy. We found something, we have to find a solution. That's step one. But it's not just as simple as, okay, copy, paste, now the solution's done, right? It's that in creating the solution, did you just create another problem? So that process is a game of whack-a-mole. And these guys are busting their ass. And I think it's really important that we acknowledge that. Everybody take a break, calm down, and be thankful they didn't just rug and leave. I don't know of another protocol like this, especially one so young, that had 2 weeks of operation and got exploited and would even lift their head up to say, hey, guys, sorry. And Nikki and the team are coming out of pocket to make everyone whole and to resolve this, and not just relaunch, not just make people whole, but to come back better. BetterBank coming back better and stronger. That's really commendable and really exciting. They're committed to Pulse Chain. They're committed to staying here and to further development. And they've told me about some stuff, or I've heard about some stuff in the chat about even future plans down the road. Something that was hinted at is, well, the long term. What about 20 years from now? Where's Pulse Chain going to be? Where's crypto going to be? Where's BetterBank going to be? What if at that point in time the US dollar is no longer the world standard? Do we still want a protocol that appreciates its core passive income asset, a Steam, by 25 cents a day? Or is there a better margin than the US dollar, 25 cents a day? That's really neat, and that's really exciting, I think. That they're talking about, well, maybe we would move to a gold standard at the time, or maybe there's a Bitcoin standard that is an increment of growth. I think that's super cool, and I think that illustrates to me their commitment for long-term growth. So kudos to Oxguard for catching it, and kudos to the team for continuing to work on this. Yes, it's delayed. No, we don't know how long it'll be, but when it comes, we know we're going to have a number of new updates that I'm going to cover in the next video. One big one is the new liquidation system. And then I'd already mentioned eDai being gathering support pretty soon. There's a 72-hour, three day, in other words, bonus rewards print coming up. So I'm going to talk about all of that in the next video, but I just wanted to give you a brief overview of this delay and my thoughts around it. So give me your thoughts in the comment. Maybe you feel differently. That's it for now. I am MoteItBe, Steve-O. Check me out on X at MoteItBe369. If you have questions about this kind of thing, check me out on Calendly, calendly.com/MoteItBe, and you can book a private session. I do personal coaching specifically on all things crypto, but specifically on BetterBank itself. And if you like what you saw, hit me up with a donation. It's MoteItBe.pls. There's my address there. If it's easier for you, you can also scan the QR code on the screen right now. Thank you guys so much for all of your support and your help. It is a major source of joy for me to be able to share this with you. And as I continue providing content and streaming for you, we have the eDai conference coming up really soon. I'm doing with Coexistent Steven and Bud P and Zach. That's coming up really soon that I'm a big part of and really committed to. So that is actually October 10th and 11th. You can find out more about that on my Twitter, my X. Keep following, keep commenting. Stay strong. We're going to get through this together. Thanks.
Payday! Payday! Papa getting rich, that's a payday!